Channel 4.
The ice storm, frozen solid in the Midwest and South. Tonight, where the weather's heading next. Boston massacre, murder charges, and new revelations now about the man police say kept an arsenal in his apartment. Also, in depth, why some of the nation's strictest gun laws couldn't stop the rampage. Lifeline, you go there to get better, but now new information about the growing risk of deadly infections in the hospital. And Home of the Brave, the Army's greatest loss at sea in World War II. Why it's taken 57 years for America to remember.
From NBC News World Headquarters in New York, this is NBC Nightly News with Tom Brokaw. Substituting tonight, Brian Williams.
Good evening. Portions of this country are paralyzed by a huge snow and ice storm tonight, which is at this hour churning its way across the mid-southern U.S., having turned the lights out, made travel impossible, and taken lives along its path. 500,000 Americans are without power tonight in the dark and severe cold. 16 people have died in weather-related accidents so far. There are states of emergency in several states tonight, and all eyes are on this storm and its possible next move. We want to begin tonight with NBC News correspondent Shelley Smith in hard-hit Texas. Shelley, good evening to you.
Good evening, Brian. Well, the hardest hit parts of Texas were north of here on the borders of Oklahoma and Arkansas. Those states bearing the brunt of the storm. Arkansas's governor calling it the equivalent of a nuclear blast of weather.
It is the worst ice storm to hit Little Rock and much of Arkansas in 20 years.
On a scale of 1 to 10, I'd call this a 12.
More than 300,000 residents without electricity from a deep freeze that began Christmas morning and hasn't let up.
I've been relying on cell phones and bundling up. It's the worst ice storm that I've seen in my life.
Officials say it will be a week before some areas get power back. No power means no water for some communities. Some asking the Arkansas National Guard to ship it in until generators arrive. Why so much ice?
Icing conditions are caused when you have a relatively shallow area of cold air near the surface.
That same blistery storm dumped buckets of snow in unlikely places. Almost 2 feet of snow in parts of New Mexico. In Texas, American Airlines canceled dozens of flights this morning after scrapping more than 700 flights yesterday. Weary passengers desperately trying to get out.
What's your travel experience been like?
Terrible. We've been here since yesterday. We're traveling from South America. We're going to Utah, and we're still here.
Today, Oklahoma gets a break. No new snow or ice after the governor declared 77 counties disaster areas. The storm is heading east to Alabama, Georgia, and then out to sea. Forecasters say this early blast of winter seems so severe because the last couple of winters have been warmer than usual.
We're looking at basically a normal winter here in the United States.
The cold snap gripping the southern plains, a sharp contrast to the severely dry conditions in Southern California, which hasn't had measurable rainfall since the end of October. Dry desert winds fanning brush fires near Los Angeles this week. A world away from the cold misery in Arkansas tonight.
Now, Brian, as this storm moves through the deep south and out to sea, another big storm is building off the coast of the Carolinas tonight. It is expected to hit the northeast by week's end.
Shelley Smith in Texas for us tonight. Thanks. This winter storm season has spawned one story of winter survival tonight. A man spends 16 days trapped in his car, buried in snow, wearing only a T-shirt with just some orange juice and a few M&Ms for sustenance. 29-year-old Thomas Truitt was finally rescued when some snowmobilers noticed the backpack he had thrown into the road as a signal. But Truitt's troubles aren't over tonight. Turns out he's accused of going AWOL from the U.S. Air Force. He will face charges upon his return. And tonight, the man accused of killing 7 co-workers in an office rampage outside Boston is locked up without bail after pleading not guilty to charges of murder. And tonight, there are new clues about what might have set him off. NBC's Kelly O'Donnell joins us now from outside the courthouse in Malden, Massachusetts. Kelly?
Brian, tonight new insight about the software technician accused of killing 7 co-workers. A divorced former Navy nuclear submarine electrician who authorities say had a stash of ammunition, hundreds of rounds at work, and a rifle with a scope in his locker. That's in addition to the alleged murder weapons. Wearing a bulletproof vest, 42-year-old Michael McDermott enters a plea of not guilty to 7 counts of murder. His lawyer signaling a possible defense.
He has been undergoing psychiatric treatment, and he has been on medication.
But prosecutors suggest McDermott, who has no criminal record, targeted, even hunted specific co-workers.
Several individuals had barricaded themselves in an office. Mr. McDermott blew the door off and the door handle with the shotgun. He then went inside and he shot one individual 3 times in the chest.
Tonight, new details about the firepower unloaded at the internet consulting company Edgewater Technology. Police say he fired 37 rounds from a semi-automatic rifle, still more from a 12-gauge shotgun, rarely missing his target. Prosecutors say he declared his plan to a co-worker moments before the shooting.
He said he had to look for human resources, and he began firing.
50-year-old Cheryl Troy, Human Resources Vice President, was among the first killed. Why? Police offer one possible motive. Tonight, Edgewater Technology confirms it was ordered to help the IRS collect back taxes McDermott owed by withholding part of his pay. In a police report, an employee told investigators that if his wages were garnished, he would be left with $250 to $275 per pay period. Before dawn today at McDermott's home, police find bomb-making ingredients, fuses, blasting caps, and liquid nitric acid. Neighbor Kevin Forzese, who knew McDermott collected guns, watched the search.
He had a lot of computers, carried out a lot of computers out of the place. It was taped off. They wouldn't even let me go near it.
Agents from the FBI and Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms now working the case, helping local authorities trace the guns.
It is our goal to understand as much as possible about what happened in this tragic incident to attain a just result as quickly as we can.
Tonight, the family of shooting victim Paul Marceau sharing his photo. The 36-year-old father of 2 was a development technician. The parents of the accused gunman were at today's arraignment as well. Their son's lawyers saying they, too, are devastated, expressing regret for what happened. Plans are now underway to honor all 7 dead with a private memorial service set for tomorrow evening. Brian?
Kelly O'Donnell in Malden, Mass for us tonight. Thanks. One man who's been called on to help the families of the victims here is Reverend Michael Steele of St. Joseph's Catholic Church locally. 2 years ago, he married Jeff and Jennifer Capobianco. Yesterday, he tried to console Jeff and the couple's 10-week-old baby when the news hit that Jennifer had been murdered. Here is Reverend Steele tonight in his own words.
In the afternoon, one of the situations that took place was a phone call from Jeff Capobianco. And he had called asking for me because I officiated at their wedding in 1998. And when he arrived about an hour later, I noticed that he was in the church with this little baby. So I went over to him and I said, Jeff, he said, Father Steele, he said, this is Eve, our new baby. He said, I really have a bad feeling because Jennifer didn't return my phone call and I can't get into the building. And my first words were, well, let's be hopeful. Then around 4:30, he was told by the police that his wife was a victim. And I came over to him and he got up and gave me a big embrace. And he said, Father, see that doorway? Jennifer gave me for Christmas a picture of our wedding blown up by that doorway the day you married us. And I said, hold on to that hope for you. And I said, focus on Eve. She's your child. And I said, you'll get through this. It will be difficult, but you'll get through it, Jeff.
Reverend Michael Steele in his own words tonight. When we continue this Wednesday evening, NBC News In Depth, the question everyone is asking this evening about these Massachusetts killings. Can anything, any laws, any actions by any of us stop these kinds of rampages?
Hey, Jerry Stiller.
Where did you come from?
Enjoying your Post Raisin Bran?
Every morning.
Know how many bowls of that it'd take to equal the vitamin nutrition in just 1 bowl of Total Raisin Bran?
I bet you're going to tell me.
4.
Holy moly.
Total Raisin Bran has 100% of 11 vitamins and minerals. Now including 100% calcium.
I'll take the Total Raisin Bran.
Now you're Mr. Nice Guy.
I want you out of here. The Total can stay.
Total, now with 100% calcium.
You know, you can clean your dentures faster than you can shower.
Because Polydent 5 Minute has such minty cleaning power, it leaves your dentures minty fresh and clean in just 5 minutes.
Minty Fresh Polydent cleans and freshens in only 5 minutes.
When you've got a big job on your hands, you need something that's as tough as you are. Like the 2001 Chevy Silverado, the truck. Now, make your money count on the 2001 Chevy Silverado half-ton extended cab with as low as 1.9% APR, giving you $2,607 in average finance savings. That's 1.9% APR. So make your money count at your local Chevy dealer today.
A significant discovery in eye health may be lutein, a nutrient found in these healthy foods. Now Centrum has the only leading multivitamins with lutein to help maintain your precious sight. Centrum Silver, now more complete with lutein.
There's a revolution going on inside your computer. It's called Quick Click from NBCI.com. See a word, click it, and you're instantly linked to more information about that word. Quick Click works on any word, anywhere on your computer, even email. Any word? Any word, click it, get information. Any word, click it, get information. Are you with me? Quick Click, you can't get it from Yahoo, only from NBCI.com.
Pope John Paul II in Jerusalem.
They told me, give me the boy, I'm going to shoot, I'm going to shoot.
The Concorde crash on our
One of
website.
the biggest consumer recalls in history.
This was an act of terrorism.
Is the Middle East on the brink of war? We still don't know who the 43rd president will be.
Never have we seen anything quite like this.
NBC News in depth tonight, the murder of 7 men and women in the state of Massachusetts. Today we learn more about the accused gunman and the arsenal he apparently kept at home in a state, by the way, with some of the toughest gun laws in the country. How could it happen? And is there any way to predict or prevent this kind of mass murder? NBC's Fred Francis reports in depth tonight.
Buying a semi-automatic assault rifle where Michael McDermott lived near Wakefield, Massachusetts, is only possible with a special permit. In fact, buying any gun there demands an extensive state and federal background check and up to a month's wait. One of the nation's toughest gun laws. Yet the district attorney today conceded the obvious.
There's a variety of schemes under which people can and do purchase weapons. You can go to any surrounding states in Massachusetts.
In fact, drive to New Hampshire, just 20 miles north, and buy almost any weapon with a cursory felon check and no waiting period. The AK-47 is the world's most popular assault rifle. Several 100,000 are in this country. Easy to use. Easy to kill a person up to a mile away. Inside an office, trauma surgeons say any hit to the torso is likely to be lethal, passing through the body, leaving a tennis ball-sized exit wound. McDermott was also armed with an easily acquired shotgun and an automatic pistol. Police think he was serious about his destructive weapons. Listen as a prosecutor describes what was found in his home along with bomb-making literature.
3 gallons of liquid nitric acid, which is an ingredient in nitroglycerin, that were labeled in boxes, dangerous, do not move.
Enough chemicals, if mixed with other ingredients, to blow up the entire building where the victims were slain. How does the workplace protect itself against that kind of mayhem? The district attorney had no answer.
Unless we really put metal detectors everywhere, which no one is prepared to do, and we're not convinced that that would really solve the problem, we still, I think, have to deal with this on a case-by-case basis.
At least metal detectors do give a warning. For as little as $2,500, a business can screen employees and visitors. Any metal detected sends a signal that automatically locks the entrance to the main building.
The company needs to train their employees. They need to become involved with their employees who are having problems so they can help them through these problems and it doesn't end up becoming workplace violence.
Realistically, anyone can get a weapon. So what police and crime experts are working on are profiles of would-be employees who are predisposed to workplace violence. It's an inexact science, but worth trying. Fred Francis, NBC News, Rockville, Maryland.
Up next, as we continue here, our Lifeline report, a growing danger inside America's hospitals and how to avoid it. And then later on, Home of the Brave, an American tragedy. Hidden for half a century, now its heroes are finally getting their due.
Calcium, lime, rust. Minerals that build up and leave hard water stains. CLR Clean Stain Coffee decanters crystal clear. Bitter-tasting coffee will disappear when you clean your coffee maker with CLR. CLR makes clogged shower heads spray like new. It works instantly on tub, basin, and toilet rust stains. Watch how fast and easy it removes rust stains from cement and stucco. Get money-back guaranteed CLR at your favorite store.
CLR is available at leading stores everywhere.
Every time I tried to quit smoking, I chewed up more pencils. So my doctor gave me a prescription that, for the first time, makes me feel in control of my cravings. Ask your doctor.
Break the habit. The prescription for help is at hand.
Bye-bye.
I should have used Preparation H.
Preparation H Cooling Gel cools on contact for fast relief. Preparation H Cooling Gel cools on contact.
Space.com. Something amazing every day.
Super Bowl Sunday. In a special multimedia event, Publishers Clearinghouse will surprise someone with $10 million. Watch your mail or go to PCH.com. Enter, and the winner could be you.
If your pencils look like mine did, there's something you can do. Ask your doctor if the Nicotrol inhaler is right for you. Or for more information, call 1-800-INHALER. Call today.
Hey, Bill Duffy, what's on your plate today?
Grandpa, look who's here. We've got them all day.
Grandpa, can I have a pickle?
Even on days like this, even after the heartburn strikes, it's not too late for Pepcid AC. Because Pepcid AC controls acid before, during, or even after the start of heartburn.
No, they're having a great time.
No matter what's on your plate, today should be heartburn-free with Pepcid AC.
A very joyful holiday to you and yours.
From all of us here at the Today Show,
Merry Christmas! Happy New Year! Happy Hanukkah!
Taken for a ride. The Fleecing of America. NBC Nightly News tomorrow.
Lifeline tonight, you go to the hospital. You assume you'll get better and not worse, but there is alarming news to report tonight from the federal government about deadly infections inside hospitals in this country. NBC News chief science correspondent Robert Bazell tonight with more on a serious problem that seems to be getting worse.
A danger of staggering proportions. 1 in 20 Americans who are hospitalized gets an infection in the hospital. That's 1.8 million people every year, with 88,000 deaths. The biggest threat? Super germs resistant to antibiotics. And the problem growing worse. In the study out today, the CDC reports that samples of the deadly Streptococcus bacteria that resist not just penicillin, but 2 other powerful antibiotics jumped 55% in only 3 years.
The key finding that we discovered was that strains that were already resistant to one drug were picking up additional resistances to other antibiotics.
Michael Fowler's wife, Dulcie, hospitalized for arthritis surgery, infected with antibiotic-resistant bacteria. Doctors struggled in vain to save her.
They told me that they could keep her alive on the ventilator for a while, but she was just sinking, and it was kind of hopeless.
So can anything be done to combat the danger? Dr. Barry Farr heads the infection control program at the University of Virginia Medical Center. He says hospitals are more dangerous than ever. With shorter stays mandated by insurance, patients who remain in hospitals often seriously ill with weakened immune systems.
They're very sick, they're at higher risk, and the infection, the bugs that are around are more of a risk to them.
To cut the risk, this hospital frequently takes cultures from patients, 5 to 10 times as often as many similar hospitals. The goal? To spot antibiotic-resistant germs before they make a patient sick.
It's only when you have sort of a surveillance culturing mechanism, a policy, and are regularly looking for them, that you know they're there.
A patient carrying resistant germs goes into isolation, and the hospital staff, even visitors, must wear gowns and gloves to stop the infection from spreading. How well do the infection control methods work? Officials at the University of Virginia surveyed several hospitals that don't use their strict procedures and found that at those hospitals, the rates of antibiotic-resistant infections were on average 5 times higher. Unfortunately, patients are often kept in the dark. Hospitals are not required to reveal their infection rates. In fact, experts say many, to save money, are actually cutting infection control programs.
Unfortunately today, a lot of hospitals and long-term care facilities are putting their head in the sands regarding infection control.
And that, experts say, will only increase the deadly threat. Robert Bazell, NBC News, Charlottesville, Virginia.
We have news on the economy tonight. The new leading economic indicators are out, and they are down 0.2%. That's more proof the economy is slowing down. But on Wall Street today, the momentum was all up. The Dow closing higher for the 3rd day in a row, up more than 110. And tech stocks, which have been sliding, were up for the first time all week, almost 46 points. And as he prepares to take charge of the nation's economy, the vacationing president-elect wants to prove he knows how to reel them in. This is the redfish we are told he caught today off Florida's Gulf Coast, and you should hear about the one that got away. On a more serious note, Mr. Bush says he'll name a few more members of his cabinet in the next few days. There is speculation tonight GOP veteran and Ford White House aide Donald Rumsfeld will be tapped to run the CIA. I'll be right back with tonight's Home of the Brave. But first, a look back tonight at actor Jason Robards, who tonight is being remembered across the country as a giant of the stage and screen after news of his death last night in Connecticut at the age of 78.
I can't do the reporting for my reporters, which means I have to trust them. And I hate trusting anybody. Run that, baby.
Super Bowl Sunday. In a special multimedia event, the Publishers Clearinghouse Prize Patrol will surprise someone with $10 million.
Just won $10 million. Oh my God! 10 million?
It all happens live on TV.
Thanks for you.
Watch your mail or go to PCH.com. Enter, and on Super Bowl Sunday, the biggest winner could be you.
I prefer using natural ingredients. That's why I take Beano. Beano helps prevent gas from problem foods with a natural food enzyme. It's not a drug. So if you prefer a more natural approach, prevent gas with Beano.
You know how hard it is to quit smoking. You know how tough that first day without a cigarette can be. It's time to ask your doctor about Zyban. With Zyban, you don't have to quit all at once. Zyban doesn't work for everyone. It's part of a comprehensive plan from your doctor to help you stop smoking. And it's the prescription smoking cessation aid most recommended by doctors. Zyban is different from nicotine replacements. It is nicotine-free, so you don't have to quit immediately. After Zyban reaches the right level in your system, it reduces your cravings. You feel like smoking less and less until you're ready to stop completely. You should know that there is a risk of seizure with Zyban. To reduce that risk, don't use if you have or have had a seizure or eating disorder. Don't use if you take Wellbutrin or an MAOI. When used with a nicotine patch or alone, there is a risk of elevated blood pressure, in some cases severe. To reduce risk of serious side effects, tell your doctor if you have liver or kidney problems. Side effects may include dry mouth and difficulty sleeping. Ask your doctor if Zyban is right for you. Zyban, you don't have to quit all at once.
Imagine combining the stain-fighting power of Efferdent and freshening power of Listerine. You'd get Efferdent Plus. It's extra fresh, and nothing gets your dentures cleaner. Efferdent Clean, Listerine Fresh. That's Efferdent Plus.
I've taken care of this garden from the very first seedling. We need each other. But when I got arthritis, I thought my gardening days were over. Then my doctor encouraged me to keep at it, because staying active helps keep joints from getting stiff. And to make it easier, he recommends Advil. Nothing's been proven stronger on arthritis pain, and it's gentle on my stomach. My doctor's right. Advil and gardening work beautifully.
Advil, stronger than pain.
Tonight at 6, could the shooting death of a Middle Tennessee hunter have been prevented? Learn why calls to Tennessee's Wildlife Agency failed to calm things down. Plus, Waylon Jennings' estate is up for auction. At 6, see how the country music star lived and who's buying a piece of history. The Scene at 6 is coming up.
Tonight, our look at the home of the brave begins at sea when a ship went down and the U.S. Army suffered its largest loss of World War II on the water. But if you've never heard of this particular tragedy, you're not alone. That's because during the war, it had to remain a secret. Tom Brokaw tells the story.
It happened 57 years ago, 1943. HMT Rona, a British transport ship carrying American soldiers, was hit by a German-guided bomb, and it sank off the coast of North Africa. 1,015 American troops died that afternoon. The memories haunt the survivors of the greatest loss at sea of U.S. Army personnel in World War II. Al Stefanoni had never learned to swim, and he fought to stay afloat.
I was glancing over in where the bomb had hit, and where there had been soldiers, there were just a pile of ashes. There were bodies strewn here and there.
Bill Caskey lost his 5 closest friends.
A lot of them were yelling for their mothers, Mama, Mama, and a lot of them were yelling, praying.
The packed ship, almost 2,000 on board altogether, was part of a convoy bringing troops to Burma when 35 enemy aircraft attacked. Hitler's arsenal included a secret weapon.
I saw this projectile coming toward us. It looked like a kamikaze type thing happening. But of course it was a guided missile, and it was being controlled by the bombardier on the aircraft above.
The blast tore truck-sized holes on both sides of the ship and knocked out the engine room. More than 300 men died instantly. Help did come, an incredible rescue effort. Under constant air attack and in 15-foot seas, the USS Pioneer, a minesweeper, rescued 606 survivors.
Out of nowhere, that ship could have rose from the deep sea or fallen out of the sky. And the sailor threw me a rope.
The Rona's sinking ranks as one of the worst maritime disasters in history. But wartime censorship blacked out the news.
Hundreds never knew of their sons, their husbands, their brothers, their uncles.
Intended to prevent the Germans from knowing just how successful their guided bomb had been, the blackout kept the tragedy shrouded in secrecy for 57 years.
We are survivors. We live to tell about it, to tell the public at large that it happened. A lot of people don't believe it ever happened.
Bob Brewer and other members mounted a crusade to remember the men on the Rona. Finally, in October this year, Congress officially recognized the heroes of the Rona, a tragedy in which 1,015 GIs lost their lives 57 years ago.
And that is Nightly News for this Wednesday night. I hope to see you later this evening for the news on MSNBC. That's on cable at 9 o'clock Eastern and again on CNBC each weeknight at 10. I'm Brian Williams reporting tonight from New York. Good night, everyone.
Nightly News is a presentation of NBC News. More Americans watch NBC News than any other news organization in the world.
Next on The Scene at 6, could the shooting death of a Sumner County deer hunter have been prevented? Channel 4 has new developments tonight in that case. Also, 4,200 Titans fans have tickets to the playoff game, and we know the date and time.
And the Music City Bowl doesn't kick off until tomorrow, but the celebration is starting tonight. I'm Lindsay Hudson, and I'll tell you all about it in just a few minutes.